Please welcome Senior Advocate Mr. Vijay Hansaria.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Vijay Hansaria has an illustrious career of more than 4 decades at the bar. Uh, a very well-known constitutional law expert, the Supreme Court has sought the assistance of Mr. Hansaria in various cases as the amicus curiae. He has also held very many important positions in the legal profession. He has been the vice chairman of Supreme Court Bar Association and the member of NALSA. His deep academic interest has taken him to write few books on the constitutional law and the juvenile justice. And one of the book is going to be translated in the Hindi, and maybe in a month's time or so, we will see here in Prayagraj only the release of that particular book. Mr. Hansaria's vision that nobody should be denied the legal assistance due to poor economic conditions has made him to establish one forum which is known as Legal Assistance Forum. Now, on a personal note, Mr. Hansaria is an old dear friend of mine, very joyful, empathetic, and I will say a generous person. He has already promised us to institute gold medal here with this university for the topper of this university. A bigger round of applause for Mr. Hansaria.
I'm already having overwhelmed by the warm welcome you're doing it, by the claps I'm getting it, and this is a small gesture. Extremely thankful to Dr. Usha Tandon for inviting me. We've been personally associated with more than 2 decades old. We had an organization called Legal Assistance Forum. Our vision was, as she rightly said, no one should be turned, no one should face injustice only because he or she doesn't have money. With that vision, we have traveled different parts of the country. We started in Ishak, Lok Adalat inside the jail about 25 years back when it was not known even to the NALSA. We have worked on juvenile justice. We went to the jails. We found juveniles in jails. We took up the issue. About 200-300 juveniles who were lodged in different parts of jail in Assam were released. That's how we became close to each other. And I came to know when she was to join here. And I was sure that, yes, I will get an opportunity to meet her here. And it will be one of the finance institution in the country because the vision she has, the dedication she has, I'm personally aware of it. So with that dedication and vision, you are all going to be one of the finance institution of the country.
I think you can put your hands together.
And this idea of conversation with legal luminary, I do not know whether I'm a legal luminary or not, but a conversation, it is a conversation. So please don't take it that it's a one-way traffic. आप लोगों से ज़्यादा सुनना है because आपसे ज़्यादा सीखना है मुझे. That is also you have to keep in mind. We are in conversation. I'm not here to deliver a speech. When we have talked to each other, it was also better of chance. मैं बात आऊँगा उसमें. How did we contacted each other? On what subject, how it was off and on होता था बात, but then इसके लिए जैसे हुआ तो वो कहा कि in conversation, मैंने कहा I'm not coming here to give a speech. So होता है 10-15 मिनट 20 मिनट स्पीच दिया सब बोर हो जाते हैं, बाकी थोड़ा देर देखते हैं कि लास्ट बेंच वाले को तो फिर वापस में गप मारने लगते हैं. I'm here to make conversation with you. You learn from me, I learn from you. It is a two-way traffic. And I must get a note more than claps that yes, you are in conversation with me. You are not hearing me only. There has to be two-way traffic. I'll be getting up, I'll be moving around here and there. It will not be like that कि भाई मैं बोल रहा हूँ और आप लोग सुन रहे हैं और बाकी लोग कुछ लोग फोन पे थोड़ी देर बाद चैट करने लग रहे हैं. वो नहीं चलेगा, वो नहीं चलेगा. किस लिए आया हूँ मैं? क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन आप लोगों से? आप लोगों की क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है मुझसे? आप लोगों के क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है जुडिशरी से? आप लोगों की क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है यूनिवर्सिटी से? यूनिवर्सिटी की क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है आप लोगों से? It's all two-way traffic. Nothing is one way. कुछ भी होता है हमेशा two-way होता है. कोई ज़्यादा आगे हाथ बढ़ाता है, कोई कम बढ़ाता है. But then it is always a two-way traffic. I am really privileged that I am here in conversation with you, in conversation with a very dear old friend of mine, Dr. Usha Tandon. who is known that she is dedicated for the work she is doing. She is dedicated to the society, she is dedicated to the cause, she is dedicated to the students as a teacher. I have never been a teacher. I always love to sit on the last row, but the last row wala is as important as the first row. So till the things reaches the last row, it is not complete. I always believe that. So it is very important to be in the first row, but then it is equally important that last row, it must reach the last row. That is what the justice is. आपका last में केस है तो वो भी होना चाहिए. वही बहुत important है. तो हम लोग चर्चा करेंगे अभी. अभी तो ये formality शुरू कर रहे हैं हम लोग. I'll go ahead as you ask me certain
Yeah.
things and then we will have a conversation with
Yeah.
each of us.
So another. All right. So here that we start.
Yes.
Sir, you were born with a silver spoon. Your father was a sitting High Court judge when you started your practice way back in 1980. So you might not have undergone that period of struggle which generally uh, a young lawyer undergoes this. Why? Because as far as this profession is concerned, generally it is heard that if the students opt for uh, doing the practice, at least first 10 years they have to struggle, and it is only thereafter that they can start earning, and once the earning comes then it just falls like the rain. But the initial period happens to be the struggling period. So we just want to know, please tell us, was it really a smooth beginning for you, or you missed out those lessons that a person usually learns going through the struggling period?
So I'm in the dock in the first round. I'll try to come out of the dock. As you rightly said or rightly not said, I was born with a silver spoon in the profession, yes. But let me tell you, I'll get up, madam, if you don't mind. I'll get up and
Yes,
then
yes, yes.
talk to you
Yes,
people
yes,
so that you
sure.
people have a interaction with me, right? Born in a village where there was no primary schools. I did my schooling from 4th standard. Before that, I was just playing gulli danda. And I am very clear about it. I'm saying facts. There was no school. There was no concept of studying up to a साल भर. I had a grandson who is 1 year away. I was thinking कि भी अब 6 महीने में भेजना है स्कूल या 2 महीने में भेजना है. Till 7, 8 years of age, we were not going to school. We were all reading. My parents, grandparents. I was staying with my grandparents. My parents were working somewhere. So, in that environment, I was born. And I was born in a small room. There was no doctors, there was no maids, housemaid, etc. So that is how I was born. And half of the mortality rate at that point of infant mortality rate, or the child mortality rate, or the female mortality was very high. So I was born in a place where called Roha in Nagaon district in Assam. I visit there off and on. I see my birthplace. That room is there in a small room, and we're not allowed to go out for 40 days. Up to ho jata. There's a different thing. So that is the place where I was born, in a business family. My father was the only person uh, who studied beyond 10th standard. So all my uncles and aunts say that no, my father was born in a hospital or what? Otherwise, he must have got changed. There is no genes to study. I was in a business family. So people won't believe that a business family man would go. 50 years back, my father went to London School of Economics to study economics. He came back. Again, I'm talking about personal things because we started with silver spoon. He came back after having master's degrees from London School of Economics in the year 1959. He did not get a job. Fortunately, he did law from Calcutta University while doing masters. He started practice because by that time he had 2 children to take care of them. And then he became a district judge, a high court judge, a chief justice, and a Supreme Court, and then he retired and then he passed away. That's how it was born. So it was not necessary. Why I'm saying it is not necessary that you have to be in a lawyer's family to become a good lawyer. It's a dedication which is important to the cause. and destiny also has a big role to play. Of course, when I started my practice in 1980, and my father was a High Court judge in 1979. But उसमें क्या होता है उस समय, rightly wrongly, I was pushed out of my place. My father was a High Court judge. He said that you can't practice where I am. He was in Guwahati, he was in Assam. I came to Delhi by chance because my father was a judge. I was pushed out. You can't practice there. That was his belief. I don't want to comment more than this. We don't have most of the people where the judges' children are practicing in the same court, and the other has a lot of grievance about it. We'll talk that one to one sometimes. But that's how I came. And at that point of time, 45 years back, that is in 1980, Delhi was as distant as a moon for people from Assam. And people like me who was born in Assam, who never went out of Assam, except to see Agra when school days, etc., on a trip, all along. It is as far as moon for people from Assam. 45 years back, 48 hours used to take by train from Assam, from Guwahati to Delhi. We have to change twice. There was no direct train. That's how we have to come here. We used to carry matka because Assam is a pleasant weather. The hot weather was not known to carry water. And I came here. I started with someone. I joined someone, and that someone was one Mr. Gambhir. How you start is very important. And he was the most hardworking. Our chamber was used to be the first one to open and last one to be closed. So 9 o'clock will start because that time the chamber opens, and again 9 o'clock it closes. We will go out because we asked by the guards that बंद करना चाहिए आप लोग चाहिए. That is how you have to work, and that's a fact. I'm saying, not that I want to impress people or people. But I had one bad quality in the sense I will go in a luxury car. Most expensive car I used to travel. And what is the most expensive car? Can you anyone of you tell us? What is? Don't say it. Compare. Just think about पहले क्या बहुत expensive vehicle. I'll not say car, vehicle. It was the Delhi Transport Corporation bus. तो DTC की बस में जाता था. It was most expensive vehicle I used to travel. And there also somebody doesn't charge जो टिकट लेने वाला आता तो इधर देख लिया उधर देख लिया, didn't have money. So that's how you start. So don't think that everybody starts with a silver spoon, means literally in the sense that he has a lot of money to start with it. And his initial struggle you must always remember. And I see a lot of female students here. It's good that you are taking profession. It's quite important. So of course, I as a lawyer's family, as a judge's children, you get a platform. Others start from zero, you start from 30. But after 30, you have to be in the same race. 30 तक आप जल्दी पहुंच गए, स्टार्ट 30 से किया, बट उसके बाद आपको तो बाकी के सबके स्पीड से ही चलना है. Initially, of course, that also 30 means 3 years I had no briefs, I had no cases. I was struggling to have 2 meals in a day. Then, of course, it started. Destiny was there, some friends were there, started getting cases, and that's how. So don't get disheartened. I told you long story about myself. Don't get disheartened that you are a first generation, you will have difficulties. For 10 years, you will have nothing. And I must tell you, I have last 10 juniors, I was thinking aloud while talking to. All were first generation. I think except one, last 10 years, all are first generation lawyers, and they're very good. Presently, I have two female colleagues. I say colleagues only. One male colleague. All are first generation lawyers. They're extremely good. They will go very high. Some of them are, of course, जो 15 साल 20 साल पहले थे, कुछ judges हैं इधर उधर, lower courts में भी है, high court में भी है. I'll come to it. I have a junior who is a Supreme Court judge who worked with me. I don't appear before him. But then, so it happens. What is constant is your dedication, your hard work. There is no substitute for hard work. But hard work के बाद भी कुछ लोगों को नहीं मिल पाता. That's a destined. You cannot say.
Yeah.
But hard work is within your reach. Do that hard work. And without that, you cannot succeed. Even if the topmost business houses, children also, they cannot succeed unless they do the hard work. Dedication, motivation, and in a lawyer, we don't come here to earn money only. That's not a business. It's a profession. It's a service. While doing service, you earn. Of course, you have to earn. You have to leave your family. You have to do it. But आपको main motto होगा कि serve करना है. Today we are living in an independent India. We are reaping the harvest of our forefathers who sacrificed their lives. बोल रहे थे झगड़ा नहीं करते, लड़ाई नहीं करते, इंडिपेंडेंस मूवमेंट में काम नहीं करते, तो हम भी आज वो झंडा हमारे पास मैडम के चैम्बर में देखा इंडिया फ्लैग होता नहीं, ब्रिटिश फ्लैग ही होता शायद. उनको कुछ नहीं मिला, वो लाइफ ही गई उनकी. उन्होंने डंडे ही खाए, गन फायर भी खाए. They died for what? For us. Similarly, you have to serve the people of this country. We have 140 crore people. Large number of them are poor people. They don't have 2 square meals. We feel bad about it. And you, all of you should feel bad about it, rather ashamed about it. In a country, in my country, you have people who don't have 2 square meals. In a country, we don't have shade. And you, how many of you see KBC? I do not know. कितने लोग देखते हो केबीसी? थोड़ा बताइए. आप लोग देखते हैं ना? ज्यादातर लोग उसमें केबीसी में जो आते हैं वो पुअर बैकग्राउंड से देखता हूँ मैं, लड़के लड़कियां होते हैं. एक को तो बोला कि सर क्या 20,000 मिले, क्या करोगे? मतलब घर पे बाथरूम बनाऊंगा. क्यों? 20,000 रुपए नहीं, बाथरूम मेरी बहन भी जाती है, वहां नहाने जाती है. आई फील सो ashamed about it. So we live in a country where there's a vast scale of poverty. Help people. Try to help people and be the healers of injustice as you become lawyer. Doctors क्या करते हैं? The healers of pain. We become the healers of injustice. Whenever it is injustice, we'll fight for it. That should be your first concern when you become a. Start thinking that you are a lawyer. You will become a lawyer. क्या करोगे lawyer बन के? पैसा तो चलिए हम कमा लेंगे बाद में. कुछ लोगों का डेस्टिनी होता आ जाएगा, कुछ हो जाएगा. आप 1 साल नहीं भी कम खा के भी कर लोगे. बट आगे आप किसी का भी देखते हो injustice होता, उसके पीछे लग जाएगी आप. उसको नहीं दिला के ही रहेंगे. To the best of your capacity, please do it. And that's the first motto you should have.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you have demolished that perception which many of people like us generally have, that if there is a person who has started practicing and whose father is the sitting judge of the High Court, that means he must have got these kind of privileges, this and that. So you have very nicely explained that this is not the case always. You know, when I was looking this sir's profile, I found that he started his practice in the year 1980, and he started his practice from the Supreme Court. So I was wondering, oh, सीधा ही Supreme Court से. But now I got the answer in the first question when he explained it. He couldn't start practice from the High Court because his own father was a judge there. So it is because of those kind of, I will say, you yourself have taken, because generally it happens that the children or the relatives practice in the same High Court, but they do not appear in the bench. So rather than having that limited kind of the thing, he has, I will say, sacrificed that particular whole state's High Court and have taken the risk to directly practice from the Supreme Court. So it is in that particular sense. So I got really clarified in that also, why directly from the Supreme Court. And another thing is that when he has explained the things where he was born, the place, etc., and sir has also explained that we have worked together in some of the projects. If you remember my second year students, when we have inaugurated our legal aid clinic, I was sharing with you some of my experiences from Tejpur prison. So that Tejpur prison happens to be a project which I have done with Mr. Hansaria only. And then he was kind enough to take us around to see the city. And therein he has taken us to that house also and has shown that place also
Yes,
where he
yes.
was born. So it was so nostalgic for him. But yes, I had also seen that thing. So, how from a modest beginning a person rises at the stature where he has, in the first very this conversation, he has explained to us. Now, moving forward, sir, you have nearly half a century experience in the legal profession. And in this long period, around 50 years, you must have seen some minor or major changes in the legal profession. Maybe they are in form of whatever new areas of law have come up, or maybe how the AI has impacted the whole legal profession herein, or maybe another kind of a thing that when we were the students, this concept of internship was absolutely unknown, and now it has become a very important ingredient of the legal education. These are some of the things which we analyze here, find here in the university. So please tell us something about um, how you will, tell us, enlighten us on these major changes which you see in this long span of period. So,
I've been in profession almost 50 years, as Dr. Usha Tandon said. 50 years age वाले भी यहाँ शायद क्या हमारे श्रीवास्तव जी होंगे. I've been in profession for that long. How it has revolutionized or what I have personally seen. First, I must tell you, I never had a principal or vice chancellor like her. Give a big hand. हमारे टाइम में तो प्रिंसिपल से मिलना ही नहीं होता था, देखते ही नहीं थे हम. And I mean it. I'm not just trying to say for sake of saying. I have never seen my principal accept कि मेरा attendance बिल्कुल खत्म हो गया था तो कहा सर दे दीजिएगा. Except that we don't have picture, we don't have that vision. All right. And let me tell you, at that point of time, as the Chief Justice Chandrachud has also said, is my contemporary, the law students were those who don't get admissions anywhere. And there was no 5 year courses, there were only 3 year course, post graduation. Graduation कर लिया, क्या हुआ, आपने डॉक्टर के लिए अप्लाई किया, यू आर नॉट मेरिटोरियस एनफ टू गेट इट. आपने कुछ इंजीनियरिंग के लिए, नॉट मेरिटोरियस. उसके बाद कुछ चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स के लिए किया, बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट के कहीं नहीं मिला, चलिए लॉ कर लो आप. And that was used to happen. Of course, mine was not by default, mine was by choice, but most of the lawyers, again, I'll be moving on, was by default. That is again, I think in this hall I find the female students more than that. In our times, always I think I had a class of about 100 students in one batch, 5 or 6 were female students, we all were crazy about them. Also now that is another major change, and it is really correct because लगता है कि लड़कियां वकील वकालत कैसे करेंगी. That's not there. That concept was there at that point of time that girls cannot be a part of the legal profession because you are supposed to run about here and there and girls can't do it. That was another concept which was there. So these are the two important things which we thought that point of time कि आपको backbencher ही आएगा और meritorious students नहीं आएंगे और फीमेल नहीं होंगी, सिर्फ आपके लिए कुछ लोगों के लिए होगा. And teachers ऐसे नहीं होंगे. हमने तो again I don't want to share so many personal things here. I hardly attended the classes because I hardly had teachers of that caliber which you are sitting up in front of you. They're all part-time teachers, lawyers will come part-time and then do it. And at that point of time, we had some books there, and the idea was कि कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, law का तो देखा जाएगा कुछ होगा. And I quote Justice Chandrachud here, he was delivering a lecture, man, in a farewell speech. He said कि ठीक है, आपने क्या क्या law किया? क्या करते हो? Law किया. अरे करते क्या हो? Well, they said law किया law. अरे नहीं नहीं, कमाने के लिए क्या करते हो आप? खाओगे कैसे? Law करके थोड़ी खाओगे. That was the concept at that point of time. That is the words of the Chief Justice of India, Justice Chandrachud was the Chief Justice of this High Court and he became the Chief Justice of India. And he said that. I also share in that bracket at that point of time. Now, of course, the brightest students come. That's the first choice. I'm very happy that the brightest students come as the law as the first profession, first choice. I have 2, 3 colleagues, as I say, and they are very bright, they are the toppers, and they chose law as their first course. And many of you have almost all of you are chosen law to be your only line because it is 5 year integrated course is also become because पहले क्या once you have taken law you have nowhere else to go. So you take a conscious decision to do law. That's again another important thing. And now coming to the AI etc. At that point of time we had only some books to refer and mostly no not like big books we will go by वहाँ पर उस समय था इलाहाबाद सिटी से ले लीजिए एमपीजन का ले लीजिए एग्जाम में पास करने के लिए आपको करना होता है so we'll just read that write something and pass it and and another thing I must tell you must have seen manual typewriter very few of you maybe in the movie only so manual typewriter होता था स्लोली काम होता था करेक्शन करना तो फिर से टाइप करिए आप उसको उसमें ऑटो करेक्शन नहीं होता आपको एक टाइप ले लिया तो आपको पहले हिंदी हाथ से लिखते थे हम लोग मैंने हाउ मच कंप्यूटराइज यू डू आई डू नॉट नो आई आस्क यू अबाउट द योर क्लासेस योर एग्जाम्स आर इन handwritten or it is on computer how many of you
Handwritten.
handwritten all right thank god it is handwritten still because you will require it presently I am examining some supreme court has a system of advocate and record examination after 5 years of practice 4 years of practice and 1 year of internship you can appear in an advocate and record examination and only advocates on record can file cases in the supreme court and that's a really tough examination and I'm examining presently answer script I find कि I have to struggle hard to read. क्या लिखा समझ में नहीं आता. So please be very careful in. Don't think that typing only will help you, but written at least you will require writing from time to time. Keep a good handwriting needs etc. And at that point of time, we were not required to type because there will be typists because it will not be computer. None of us will have computer. Not computer was not born at that point of time. So we will write by hand and then typist give it to typist. Typist will type it out. Now, how many of you type well? Tell me again. How many of you type well?
I think
Good speed. Very few. It will not do. It will not do. I scold my juniors more for typing than for doing legal research. You have to have a good typing skill. At least many Supreme Court judges nowadays they say that we correct ourselves. Many of the Supreme Court judges come, but they have to have good typing skill, good skill. This is a part of their education. Ma'am, please introduce
no,
it.
are you not writing your projects on your own? You don't. I mean, I see you. I mean, sitting in the library, having the laptop, and so you type, don't you? You get it typed from outside. Then why the hands are not? You are raising the hand when sir is
No,
asking.
it has to be good speed. You may be able to do it. Ma'am. What they're doing, maybe they're typing, they're doing it, but it doesn't have a good speed. मैं आपको जैसे बोल रहा हूँ now. Suppose I speak whatever I am speaking, are you able to type it out in that speed?
Oh no.
So no, or it's half of the speed. All right, I write it from here. How fast you can type, and it is very important. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, National Law University, Prayagraj. कितने सेकंड में आप टाइप कर लोगे? 1 मिनट में कितनी स्पीड है ये? And try to do it 8-10 fingers से टाइपिस्ट टाइप करते हैं. It's not very difficult. The typist can do it. I can do it. I've tried it. उसके लिए होता भी है. And typing is very important skill part of it because आजकल आपको स्टेनो नहीं मिलता है. आप डिक्टेट नहीं करते, आप खुद ही करते हो सब कुछ. तो उसके लिए यदि आपको सब कुछ पता है, आपको आउटपुट स्पीड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन प्रेजेंट डे स्पीड. एंड इफ यू डोंट स्पीड हैव स्पीड यू मिस द बस बिकॉज आई विल गिव यू स्मॉल एग्जांपल. अर्लियर स्पीड वाज 40-50 के व्हीकल में चल रहा था गुड स्पीड. देन व्हीकल्स केम, इट के 60 बिकेम ए नॉर्मल स्पीड. टुडे 80 पे भी चलता है, 100 पे. अरे कितना स्लो चल रहा है भाई, गाड़ी चला जल्दी से चला. 100 becomes a normal speed. So with time you have to change. You have to change. And you must see that the typing is equally important. When you are at classes, all of you, I understand, have laptops definitely. In an NLU like this, you will have laptops. Practice typing only. Practice typing. And try to not 2 fingers, try to type 10 fingers. And that will help you in the profession in a long way, let me tell you. You may not realize कि typing के law सीखने आए को typist थोड़ी बनने आए. But nowadays you only correct. Nobody else. You don't have a stenographer. You don't have draft copies. We do it sometimes. But वो भी आपको करना पड़ेगा. That's a very important tool. Now coming to the tool, research we used to do we'll take out a book each year. We have yearly, we used to have yearly digest earlier, 1960, 70, 80, 90, 20, etc., etc. Each year you will see subject cases and make research out of it. Now you have software, and I hope we have SEC online,
Yes, yes.
etc. And you, of course, all of you are in second year. Law has not started as yet fully. You are mostly doing. I was talking to your vice chancellor because in the first year normally you have 4 subjects of not the law, 1 or 2 subjects in law. Second year you will have more, and third, fourth year you will have more. So how do you make search with the tool, with the SEC online, with Manopatra, etc.? So you must know the technology. Without technology, you can't survive again. Because as I said, 10 years back, 60 was a good speed. Today, if you are 60, driving at 60, you will be at a backstay. You will never reach the destination design that all others will reach. So you have to go with technology. That's another important facet of the things. Thirdly, AI. Now AI is taking up, and I find that some interns come to me and उसको बोला ये करके ले आओ, he'll bring a nice 10 pages note the next day. Oh wow, very nice. I'm impressed. Like tell me, sir, अरे, one can make out that yeah. Your application, that's only AI isn't a tool. Ultimate brain is has to be yours. You have to apply your brain. Don't do it only. Take the assistance of what is called the tools which you have, scientific tools you have, just like SCC online, etc. But ultimately you have to apply your mind and then do it. आप सिर्फ उस पर डिपेंड करके तो फिर जजेस भी नहीं चाहिए, हमने डेटा डाल दिया, रिप्लाई जजेस आ गया, रिप्लाई आ गया, नहीं होता. Human brain is AI is not a substitute for human brain. They are all the tools which we have. Earlier we used to go in cycles, then scooter, then car, then extra luxury car, etc., etc. Airlines. Similarly, which the change in the environment, you have change in the technology, you have a change in the perception, you have change in the society, you have changed your mindset for serving the people. Of course, most of the private law colleges, which again the NLU has a very added responsibility. It is a government, you are born under a statute, under a law made by the people of this India. You are not born under a private college. That's the added responsibility of NLU students, that you are a statutory child. You are getting a degree under a law made by the state legislature, and then they will make a law. They have common people in mind. So you have to keep that in mind and proceed further. I think my answers are quite long than
Yeah.
the question.
So,
We'll go further.
yeah, yes, I think we can move further. Now, come on, more specific and technical things. Sir, there is a landmark judgment given by 5-judge constitutional bench of the Supreme Court in 2024. Technical name is Association for Democratic Reforms of the Union of India. Popularly, it is known as electoral bond case. Just for my students, you must be aware of that one scheme was announced by the government whereby the person and these companies can donate anonymously by purchasing the bonds through SBI. And it was challenged and it was struck down. And I will say it was one of the persons who made it struck down was Mr. Vijay Hansaria. Because he has argued in that particular case. So, sir, we would like to know from you that when such a high profile case comes before you, how do a lawyer of your stature strategize the case for arguing it before the court of law?
When a matter like this comes, I have to leave all my paid briefs. That's the first thing I have to do. Because you have to sink yourself in such cases. Now, before I answer, I want to know how many of you know about electoral bond. किसी को पता? आप बताइए मुझे क्या इलेक्ट्रल बॉन्ड है? Just can you give me mic and then so that as I said, I've been speaking. I want to learn from you also. You have? Huh? What is electoral bond? Please tell me.
Yeah, whatever you know.
but
Whatever you know.
कोई बात नहीं.
Yes, yes, yes.
हाँ बताइए.
The government got this scheme so that the companies may donate anonymously. No one may know who donated, no names were known only, and the main branch of SBI only there it can be donated. So that if there is any issue, like the government is not formed and they know who donated to whom, so they might get the losses and all. That was the argument of the government. And they said that it regulates the donations of the parties which previously was not regulated.
Scheme now by the government,
Huh.
which the donor as well as the recipient of the money was held anonymous, and the money was donated to SBI, and the ADR was seen of the in the ADR was seen of the checklist. The electoral bond scheme was unconstitutional, and
To whom it can be donated?
it could be donated
To me?
any political party.
Oh,
Any
that's
political party of my
yeah.
choice, and it was held anonymous.
Oh, very well. So basically, you are right. See, the political parties, how do they survive? I'm doing research a lot of days now. They go on, they have to have money to spend. They get donations from the people, from the corporate houses. Whether they should get from corporate houses is another story. But they get bulk of the money, and 95% I was studying on the way while coming here. Doing for some other relief. 95% of the money received by the political parties are from corporate houses. No corporate house is going to give money in hundreds of crores and thousands of crores without anything. At least the voters. Now, X company gives it to a political party. The voters are supposed to know, all right, X company has given 100 crores to a political party. You have a right to know as a voter. You all vote, right? How many of you have voted? All of you have voted? Good number of you. Because voting is also very important. Don't miss out. I don't miss out. I miss anything, but I don't miss out my voting right. Don't miss out. That's the very important tool
Sir, they may
of
not
democracy.
be 18. Many of them may not be 18.
हाँ नहीं ठीक है. Many of them may not be.
Yeah.
But then whenever you get right, please vote. And the voters' right is very important. That's what the Supreme Court has said. Voters' right regarding criminal antecedents of MPs, MLAs of the candidates. Voters' right to know about the funding of the political parties, because you fund and then you mold your scheme. I give the money to the political party and ask political party, if you come to power, make that scheme which is suitable to my company. You can do it, but do it openly. Now, what the electoral bond did was, who is paid to whom is not known. All that the political parties nowadays, if you please see all of you, there is something called a contribution report mandatorily to be uploaded on the election commission website. So you will know which company has paid to which political party how much money. Now, electoral bond was a iron curtain drawn. I'm giving it to you. I only and you know it. Nobody else knows it. Right to know of the voters, where is it? Right to know whom do I vote, which political do I vote. And you will be surprised that who gave the maximum amount of donation was some lottery king. That was the maximum amount of money a single corporate entity gave in by way of electoral bond to all political parties. Not only the ruling party in the center, ruling party in the states, etc. In various states, wherever they had lotteries. So they had a vested interest. All right, you can give it, you can take it, but at least let it be known to the people, so that when I go to vote, I know it. So there were two competing rights in the Supreme Court: right to know of the voters and right to privacy of the companies. The company said, "I'm giving it. How are you concerned? I'm giving it to that. I have my right to privacy." As you say that, another argument was of the government that if A is giving to B party, B doesn't come to power, C comes to power, he will take revenge. अच्छा तुमने उसको तो इतना दे दिया मुझे नहीं दिया. But ultimately that means we use the word आप क्या व्हाट इज बॉम्बे में बोलते हैं there's some word where two gangs comes and then you protection money, one can say, is it that protection money? It is not a protection money. You are giving it so that they make policies. It is not a protection money which you are giving me, in effect. But ultimately, the right to know of the voters, democracy, all that the little man have is the right to vote. And the little man's right, that changes the entire change, who will govern, that changes the entire democratic setup. Democracy में एक ही चीज important है, voting and informed voting. We say we have to have informed voting. In the informed voting, we must know which political party is taking money from some criminal bank, some arms manufacturer, some drug manufacturer, some overseas, because in the voting, voters electoral bond allowed even overseas voting also. Some mafia companies, some gangster companies, we do not know. So that's what influenced the Supreme Court to do it. And you must also get data in it. We found out, as I said, electoral. There are contribution reports uploaded on this on the Election Commission's website, which every political party is required to do it. They will say disclosed source and undisclosed source. We told that we shown here, I don't want to this the data to show that they are 100% undisclosed source, and the data and the fact that the right of the voter is higher than the right of privacy of the corporates. That was the two basic principles on which the Supreme Court struck it down. Then the government was not keen to give the details. They said it will take time, etc. But then ultimately it came in the public domain, and about 16,000 crores have been donated by way of this electoral bond. And it's not that it is today the political parties don't have money; they have tons of money. See the political parties return how much they have, how much donations they get, and the ruling party gets the maximum donation. The corporate houses gives it, and when corporate house gives it, they have definitely the business interest. There's nothing other than individually we give. I like A political party, you like B political party, you like C political party. You give donation, but we give donations. कितना देंगे? 1,000 रुपए, 5,000 रुपए, 10,000 रुपए, 1,00,000 रुपए, 5,00,000 रुपए. Will not give 500 crores rupees, even if I have money. So definitely they have a vested interest in donations. At least make it public. That's what we said, and that was accepted by the Supreme Court. And that's how we are. And let me tell you about that. I had two interns at that point of time, and they really had sleepless nights. I wanted data which were uploaded, which were available in the public domain in the ECA website. Overnight, kiska kitna tha, and this data influences the court. That is, and one of them is now a law clerk with the Supreme Court judge, other is trying for a judicial service, and they are doing very good.
Yeah, moving forward, sir. Uh, as I said in the introduction, that you have been appointed as the amicus by the Supreme Court for some of the cases. And one of the prominent cases is Ashwini Kumar Upadhyay versus Union of India, that is 2023. This is a case relating to the expeditious trial of criminal cases against the MPs and MLAs. So, may we know some of the real time instances of this case, please?
Yeah. Well, again, I'll start with a question from you. How many of you know how many MLAs and what is the percentage of MLAs and MPs or even ministers or even chief ministers have criminal cases against them? What is the rough? Tell me. 75% of the of has criminal cases. No, ma'am, that's not correct. That's too putting too high. That's not correct. 75% नहीं है. और बताइए कोई बात नहीं थोड़ा थोड़ा हम भी सब गलते हैं हम भी कोर्ट में गलते हैं they will say what Mr. Hansaria, what are you talking rubbish? So I'm not saying rubbish, but then you must find out. Tell me, you are saying something. 27, 47, yeah, almost near, quite near. So roughly 40% of our present sitting MPs and MLAs, 42% of the sitting ministers.
Oh.
We have roughly 600 plus ministers in the country. I'm doing that survey because I'm going to working on it to do something more on it. We have about 600 ministers throughout the country, state and union together. About 300 of them, little less than 275 of them has criminal cases. About out of which 27 are serious criminal cases. Serious criminal cases are those which are punishable with 5 years or more, including rape, including murder, including kidnapping, including attempt to kill, including cheating, including theft, including rioting. We have thought so, Minister. What is this democracy we are living on? We feel shame. I started my argument in the last 8 weeks not being able to hear it. Saying, "Look, it's shameful to be in a democracy where 40% of our lawmakers have criminal cases. What is this democracy we are talking about?" And please see, there are Association for Democratic Reforms has said in the other case, ADR, that electoral bond. ADR is doing a wonderful job in uploading the data, analyzing the data. While on the train, I was reading 5-6 hours. I had 2 hours. I was reading their reports. They gave a report that out of, I think, 30 chief ministers we have in the country, 26 states and 3 union territories has legislatures. 12 of them has serious criminal cases. 12 chief ministers, sitting chief ministers, have criminal cases. Some of them has 40, 50 criminal cases against them. Trials are happening. It's not that not happening, but then there are ways of delaying the trials. We are responsible to some extent. That is our profession. अब डॉक्टर्स के पास भी पेशेंट आता है, वो अब मर्डरर है या कुछ और है, वो तो ट्रीटमेंट करेगा. हमारे पास क्या, that's our duty. Again, don't run away the client कि you have committed a heinous crime. So you have a design duty, but then ultimately we are trying to expedite, and I feel pride in saying that we have special court MPs, MLAs all over the country. In all the districts, we have district courts, special court MP, MLA. I suggested to the court and court accepted, and that's how it has been established. There are expeditious trial happening. Last year, about 2,000 cases were decided by the special court MPs, MLAs, but then equal number of has come. So ultimately, we have about 5,000 cases constantly against MPs and MLAs. We have about 4,500 lawmakers in the country, but 5,000 cases doesn't mean each one of them. One has 5 cases, 10 cases, 70 cases, 80 cases also, and who is a chief minister.
Are the frivolous cases majority of the cases?
No, majority will not be frivolous cases. I filtered them. Normally, क्या होता है? This has out of 5,000 above. We had 144 violations. What is 144? There is a prohibitory order that you can't assemble more than 5 persons or more. You go there and you violate that law. It's also punishable offense. 188 IPC new Bharatiya. I don't remember the sections. So there are about 1,000 plus cases which are 144 violations for staging the demonstration. That's a constitutional right. That's a democratic right to have demonstrations, etc. Similar about them. But large number of them, again, even if one case is of rape, one case is of murder, one case is of attempt to murder, one case is of kidnapping, how can you be a minister or chief minister? But they are, because they are not punished. The trial is going on for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. There are money laundering cases, huge money laundering cases, which are going on by ED. ED के नाम से तो सबको डर लगता है. मुझे भी अब ज्यादा बोलूंगा तो पता नहीं अब कितनी दूर जा पाएंगे. But I'm not worried. Let them take me, because I don't have money, so much of money. ED cases are pending for decades. Investigations go on for decades. That's why last judgment, Justice Chandrachud judgment, he has directed you, given a series of directions. Cases will not be adjourned, but the cases are adjourned. The witnesses will come, but they don't come because they are worried. There is something called witness protection scheme, which is introduced by the Supreme Court, for which you have to make application. We got an order that you don't have to make an application. Everybody case would be, witness protection would be given. But then ultimately they are on paper, but the witnesses are worried. They are not coming. The IU doesn't come because the police is under the control of the state. Investigation officers are there. We got and appointed some nodal prosecution officer, but ultimately things have not been moving as they ought to have moved. This is a very serious thing. What I tell you people also, when you go to vote next time, please see if he has criminal cases. As per the Supreme Court order, every candidate is required to give details of his pending criminal cases. Seize those things. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your them. He has 5, 10, 15 criminal cases or even one criminal case. Don't vote for him. You don't vote and don't let at least spread this. You will be contributing a lot to the system.
But sir, generally we hear it that, as I said, ki frivolous cases. Why? Because the person cannot contest or person cannot win. So how much is the truth in that? Why? Because if simply the case is filed and I mean no conviction or acquittal is there, so is it really fair? Why? Because in that race, anybody can file a case, uh, and then the person may be trapped rather. So how do I mean
Yeah,
see this?
you're right. I'm glad that you asked. There are two competing rights. He has not been convicted. You are innocent till you are proven guilty. Now, what happens to the public servants? A public servant, if he is in custody for 48 hours, he is to be suspended. He cannot remain. But you can be chief minister, even if you were in jail for 2 days, 5 days, 10 days, till convicted. A public servant, there under the IAS rules, under the civil services rules, that if you are in jail for 48 hours or more, you are to be suspended. You are deemed to be suspended. So why there is a different law for the lawmakers? They are making the law for us. That the lawmakers are making the law, becoming are the lawmakers. How can the lawmakers be those who are breaking the law? You are right that it cannot be done. In some cases, it can be frivolous. But then we all common citizens like me and you and all of them are sitting here. A case can be filed. Why do you say that it will be only frivolous? There are very serious allegations. The police is investigating. Police is prima facie found it. Otherwise, go for quashing. All these MLAs, they spend a lot of money. They will hire a good lawyer, not like me, and they will get it quashed. The very fact that the cases are pending, the charge investigation is on, in many cases, charge is framed. When the court frame charge, it applies its mind. And at that stage, at least we have been arguing, and unfortunately, have not succeeded till now, that once the charge is framed, you have to go. The trial may take 5 years, 10 years. Recently, I was reading in an Allahabad. I think it will take about 48 years for a trial, for an appeal, first appeal to be heard by the High Court. I don't blame the High Court because they do 200 cases, 150 cases in a day. It's humanly impossible to deal with so many number of cases. But the fact of the matter is, for citizen is concerned, if my case is pending, criminal cases for 50 years, for a common man, it can be, but for a person like an MP and MLA, he has a team of lawyers. He will defend him, get it quashed. If there is nothing, get it stayed, get a conviction stayed. But definitely, 5% innocent हो सकता है मैडम. MPs and MLAs के खिलाफ कोई जल्दी से हिम्मत नहीं करेगा कि FIR भी रजिस्टर करवा दे. वो कितना ही धमकी दे दे, पैसा दे दे, भाई पैसा ले जाओ. It will be it's really fear. Some nowadays, unfortunately, fear is more. Somebody comes and says to a businessman, "अरे विधायक जी ने पैसे मंगवाए, हाँ हाँ भाई कितना ले जाना ले जाओ." He will not go on lodge an FIR. He will not. So it is not that all are frivolous cases. As I said, you asked me the question. There will be minor cases. Yes, there are about 1,000 minor cases. We are saying that please quash it at least. I feel ashamed. We were saying we are the largest democracy in the world. Somebody said in some other parliament in I think Singapore somewhere. I think your lawmakers are 40% are criminals. What democracy are you talking about? What do we answer in a global forum? We have no answer. One answer is at least those 1,000 cases that are pending. Please close those cases. That's one answer. Chalo 20 पर 40 से नहीं 30 आ गया. But ultimately, there are very serious, heinous understanding. And please see ADR reports. They give the details of each candidate. At least see the candidate of your constituency. He has cases. He doesn't have cases. Next time, if he wants, you vote. Then you don't vote for him. At least tell your friends that you don't vote for him. Yes, please tell me.
So just if there are charges, how can we challenge to the fact that they are democratic? They are mere charges. they have not proven it. But charged in lie against me. Charged in lie against me. So this does not render me or you as a baby whenever charges.
That's the argument always made on behalf of the lawmakers. You are innocent, you will prove guilty, and that's a principle to be followed. But if you have a serious criminal allegation against you, case against you, will you get a job? You will not get a job. And I'm coming to it. I like that conversation thing. You will, if you are a civil servant, if you are a public servant, if you are in 48 custody, you are suspended. You cannot continue in your office. And do you think really, as I told your vice chancellor, that do you think a person of this country, a normal person of this country, has the guts to file a false criminal case against a lawmaker, against an MP or an MLA? Very, very few. You are right. They may be politically vindictive, but for 5-10 लोगों के लिए तो हम 4,000 केसेस नहीं हो सकते ना. लॉ मेकर्स हमारे नहीं हो सकते. 40% ऑफ लॉ मेकर कैनॉट हैव क्रिमिनल केसेस. गेट देम एक्विटेड. उनको कहिए ना कि आप क्वेश्चन करा लीजिए, गलत हुआ है, डिले हो रहा है, ठीक है, नहीं कर सकते कंटेस्ट, बट आपको जॉब भी तो नहीं मिलता है ना. व्हाई देयर इज अ डिफरेंट लॉ फॉर द लॉ मेकर्स? They are innocent, yes, till proven guilty, but there is a sword hanging on them. And when there is a sword hanging on each one of us in this room, we will not be getting a job. I don't think any one of us in a position to get a job. If we know there is a criminal case against him, which is a serious criminal case for dacoity, for murder, attempt to murder, would you give him a job? No. But they are making law for us. And we all know, if you see these reports or the investigation or the on the website which are available, the affidavits which are filed, that is also thanks to Supreme Court. Now, because of the Supreme Court order, they say that you have a right to know what are the criminal cases going on. And on that basis, they file an affidavit before contesting the election that these are the criminal cases against me, pending against me. And we know. And once we read it, we will know that they are false or not. We can make a normal assumption about it. Of course, सुप्रीम कोर्ट से भी एक्विट हो जाता, हाई कोर्ट से कन्विक्शन होता, सुप्रीम कोर्ट से एक्विट हो गया. बट that is happens sometime. But then for 1 or 2 or 5% persons, you can't have so many persons who are having criminal cases against them. At least all that we are saying, have an experienced trial for them. Day to day trial कर कोई innocent है तो निकल जाएगा, guilty है तो he will go to jail. That's all it happens. That's all we are asking for. And this is again a very challenging task. You are taking on to almost the most powerful persons in this country. Who are they? They are the ministers and the lawmakers. Definitely. विधायक जी आ जाते हैं या मंत्री जी आ जाते हैं तो बहुत ही बड़ी बात है. विधायक जी या सांसद आ जाते हैं तो भी सबका सब आप देखिए, मूवी में देखिए कैसे आप पुलिस वाले कैसे क्या करते हैं उनके साथ. हमारे साथ क्या, हमको एक FIR लॉन्च कराने जाना भी होता तो डर लगता है. That's what I'm told that we have adopted a village for legal aid. आप पूछिए किसी का भी आपकी बेटी के साथ कुछ हुआ या आपके घर पे कुछ हुआ तो क्या आप कंप्लेंट करोगे? हिम्मत नहीं होगी, थाने जाने की हिम्मत नहीं
This
होगी.
has happened with you also when in the train you lost something, and she is such an alert law teacher. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you tell us, man. Yeah.
So, as Ma'am was rightly pointed out, that I was traveling from New Delhi railway station to Prayagraj, and somebody took my wallet and it was giving me to mega OT. So I tried like anything to get my FIR lodged, and somehow I got this NPR registered, but the police officers, they were not cooperative at all. Despite the note, I informing them that I am a legal professional and I am a assistant officer, but it really made more difference. So as we compare ourselves with a layman, so yes, there is a huge difference when it comes to getting your FIR registered, irrespective of the fact that
If the FIR is against a minister or a MLA, it will be impossible. You will not dare to do it. But even if a law teacher, I will not dare to do it. पता नहीं क्या करेगा, कहाँ उठवा लेगा. That's one thing. So it is the argument which is made, the innocent people would be roped in. There will not be maybe 2 or 3%, 5%. The political vendetta when you are ruling party A state, you can opposition वालों को आप खिलाफ गलत केस कर सकते हो. But ultimately, what are we gaining? We are getting persons of 40% of our lawmakers are getting as having criminal background. How many of you in this room have a criminal background? I don't think maybe 1 or 2 or होगा तो traffic violation का होगा. It's also a criminal case. But then I don't think. So why we have a separate thing? Caesar's wife has to be living in a glass house. Must be very clean. Technically, yes, he's innocent. But then why should he continue as a minister? Let him take his now. जल्दी ट्रायल कराइए, खत्म कराइए, फिर आइए, कंटेस्ट करिए, no problem, no issues at all. Yes.
Some prominent elite class of individuals when it comes to clearing for expeditious delivery. Why not make them
Yes, yes. But thank you for that query also. I always have a grievance that why उनका जल्दी हो जाता है. मैडम, ऐसा क्या होता है? ऐसा नहीं है कि कॉमन आदमी का केस जल्दी नहीं होता है. What is publicized, what come in the public domain are only 10 cases, out of which 8 are of politicians. Rest are not there. At least I always give a credit that yes, judges are the judges which in our country are doing the job which I don't think anywhere in the globe they work. The workload they handle. And large number of cases are decided expeditiously with the common man, but it does not come in the media, so we do not know. So there are bail applications which are decided within a day. He gets bail within a day, but that will not come. If a minister comes or is a judge or a lawyer comes, uska jaldi ho jata tha, then it comes. But many times, of course, you build a pressure at the court also. They hear it early. Nowadays, we say that all at anyway. I should say it or not, but I'm within the family. When there is a stray dog cases, you get a hearing in 3 days. But then again, it's a pressure which is built sometimes. And many times, in our case, we are getting, in my case, which Madam has said, I'm getting a argument why their cases should be decided expeditiously. Why not others' cases? There's a reason behind it. They are the lawmakers. So we want their cases to be decided expeditiously. It's not happening for 30 years. Cases are also there. I have in my chart cases which are pending for 30 years against the law, against the politicians. Again, one can say, "Uska to career ही खत्म हो गया, case ही नहीं हो रहा." He doesn't want also, and it is not happening for some reason. But then that's one of the stray cases. We have about 5 crore cases pending in the country, and 4,000 are criminal cases. So 4,000 cases जल्दी कर दीजिए ना, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा system को इतना. But yes, common man's cases are also decided early. Let's have that person give credit to the judges also. But then they don't come in the media. We all do not know. Many cases from the lower court to the highest court, within a year time, cases are decided. Not it are not decided. But we do not come to know. I'll share with her some of the cases, common man's cases, which are decided within a year's time from the lowest court to the highest court. And we must discuss it also. People must know it.
Yeah.
It's not that only the big man or the politicians' cases are decided early. They're not decided early many times.
चलिए कुछ अच्छी बात भी पता चली जुडिशरी के बारे में. Uh, yeah, it's really heartening to know when you have said that our Indian judiciary is handling the workload which no other judiciary in the world is handling. That is, I think, factually correct as well. The last question from my side, then we will open the floor for your questions if you are having any. Sir, you were enrolled as an advocate in 1980, as we have said previously. Then after 5 years, you became the advocate on record. Then after 22 years, in the year 2002, you were designated as senior advocate by the Supreme Court of India. So just tell us, what is the difference between these 3 categories of lawyers with the help of your own experiences?
See, in our country, we have Advocates Act. The moment you are enrolled as an advocate, once you get a degree from the college, you have to apply for enrollment. And once you get an enrollment, now you have to pass a bar exam within a stipulated period. But before passing bar exam, once you get a degree from a college, which madam will give you, And thereafter you will get an enrollment which is a technical, which is not, doesn't have any filtration as such. They only find out whether it is degree from this right source. Then you are entitled to register as an advocate and you can practice in any court in India. There is no bar. You can practice in the lowest court of the country and the highest court of the country. Practice in this, you can address the court as a lawyer. Because you can't represent anyone else except a lawyer. That is the bar under the Advocates Act. That's a privilege which we get. If you have a case, he cannot represent you in the court. Only a lawyer has the authority, exclusive authority to represent. That's what the lawyer, and we are. I don't have the exact number. We are a large number of lawyers in the country nowadays. More and more young people are coming to practice law. That's very good. That we are increasing our numbers also. That's what every senior advocate on court is a lawyer. Then what is advocate on record is that you have to filtration process for practicing in a particular court. I understand Allahabad also has a system of something similar to advocate on record. If I want to file a case in the Allahabad High Court, I can't file it unless I'm an advocate on record, whatever name it is, in the process through Allahabad High Court rules. I can't file it. That was challenged in the Supreme Court, that was rejected. Similarly, for filing a case in the Supreme Court, it can be filed by only an advocate on record. And for that, you require 5 years practice as a lawyer, and thereafter, you require to pass an exam, which is a 50% aggregate and 60% aggregate and 50% individual papers. We set the question papers and we examine it also. As I said, the first thing I find it's very, very poor handwriting and very unmethodically written. When you are writing it, please keep in mind somebody else, the teacher is to examine. उनको कैसा लग रहा देख के, उनके ऊपर कितना लोड है, आपको देख के ये पढ़ना पड़ेगा. Your 50% mark is gone. It's a very practical thing. I'm doing that. आप तो एग्जाम कर रहे हो आपको डिग्री लेने के लिए. मुझे तो एक ये, and it's a part of my job, of course. But then that is not the job which I'm enjoying. I'm bound to do it. और आपका हैंडराइटिंग ही इतना खराब है और आपका लिखने का स्टाइल ही इतना खराब है और कहाँ से we had now presently I'm examining some, we have about multiple questions. Somebody would write 5A, then 5C, then 5D, then 2A, then 2X, then like this. You get upset about it completely. He is not. So that is again advocate and record examination you are required to pass. Then you can file a case in that court. Idea is that you must take the responsibility. Supreme Court's cases are there. Why advocate and record system is you are responsible enough to the court. Only advocate and record is answerable to the Supreme Court. Now, when it comes to senior designation, you are supposed to acquire sufficient experience. We have certain restrictions as a senior advocate. We are not supposed to have a case directly from a client. I don't, if any one of you say, my case is Supreme Court, I say, sorry, I can't do it. I have a statutory bar and I don't do it. You have to come through an advocate on record or any other advocate. The idea is when you explain your case, you take 2 hours to explain. When an advocate comes, he will come to explain. He will give me 10 minutes about field filtration. My time for study is more. I get more time in doing research, contributing to the cause, contributing to the jurisprudence of this country. So I have some restrictions but that's a big recognition again. There are cases, again, Monday koi case, some senior advocates, designation is an issue. He is the senior advocate, but then in the court he shouts like anything. He will say, judges, how do you do it, this, that, make allegation. His senior gown is being disrobed. Oh. High Court has disrobed it. He is challenged it is pending Monday koi case. You find some of the senior lawyers, they will try to browbeat the judge. They will be very, very harsh to the judge, saying that I am a senior advocate, how can you dare do it? You have to do this way. How can you not do it? Misbehave, almost misbehave. So there the responsibility comes that yes, you have to be dignified, be experienced. You teach the younger members of the bar. So that's another responsibility on you. The court looks upon you that once a senior advocate says anything, the court accepts it because they say that they will not mislead the court. That's another responsibility which you have. You filter enough to tell the court. The client has 10 things to say, keep it filtered by an advocate court, and further filtration will be done. What is to be said? I am not a mouthpiece of the lawyer, of the litigant. I have to balance the court and my client's duty. I have a duty towards the court. I have what is called an officer of the court. So I don't say anything and everything. If I come to know something forgery has been done, the signatures, but I don't say that this can raise technical issue that you have to prove it. But don't mislead the court on fact. So you have an added responsibility as a senior lawyer, which is a very presently large number of my colleagues have become designated, but otherwise it used to be when I became a senior advocate educator. I don't know, आपने पूरा मेरा तो चिट्ठा निकाल रखा है. I hope you don't say many more things about me. You're starting with my birthplace to my senior designation. Uh, when I became senior advocate in 2002, last 10 years, I think not more than 10 senior advocates were designated by the Supreme Court between 92 and 2002. And I will always say between 92 and 2002, 25 Supreme Court judges have become, but only 10 senior advocates have been there. That's what the filtration which was done. So they were very, very selective in doing this. You can really contribute to the
Change their belief. So, as you had rightly pointed out, that when a civil servant is initiated with some issue like this, they are supposed to be suspended within 48 hours. But there is no such provision or anything for judiciary or the executives. The only thing that was done after such a high profile issue was that Honorable Justice was transferred to his parent branch, that is Allahabad High Court. So, what are your views on this issue?
I'm glad you asked me. It's a big scar on the entire judiciary, no doubt about it. If I was in the position to take a decision, I would have suspended the judge immediately. I would have asked the police to register an FIR. I would have got an investigation done. I'm showing in a public domain. I have no hesitation in saying that. For some good reasons, what we call it, a Suraksha Chakra is there for against the High Court and Supreme Court, which is about 1,000 of. There are about 1,000 or 1,100 High Court judges and 34 Supreme Court judges. You cannot touch them. There is a judgment by the Supreme Court. Because the judges are very vulnerable. They cannot defend themselves. You make allegations against the judge, पैसा ले लिया, क्या करेगा? Judge public में जाके थोड़ी बोलेगा कि पैसा नहीं लिया मैंने, क्या करेगा? That was what was happening. If you lose a big case, you have a media at your, you can create that news. Unfortunately, judge can't go and defend. कि भाई मैंने नहीं किया, क्या करूँगा? That is why it was done. But this is a blatant case. If it is found tons of money at the official residence, there is not only a presumption, there is a valid, the judge, what the judge said, कि मुझे पता नहीं, अरे भाई मेरे घर पे पैसा आ गया, official residence में रखा हुआ है, and can you believe it, मेरे घर पे होता तो ईडी आ जाती अगले दिन. Why it was not FIR registered? I'm as aggrieved as you. Why was an FIR not registered the next day or the same day? And it came to public only when the newspaper reported it after 1 week. If I was the Chief Justice, which I am not, I would have asked police others, why do you get the evidence today? Today you have no evidence, there you have no way to convict the judge today. Because that money has gone, where it has gone, how it has gone, we do not know. But what we all know, that the sacks of money were found at the official residence of a judge. And official residence, you and me cannot go there. There are a lot of filtration required. The judge may say, हाँ मेरे staff में लाया हुआ. It's very easy to say. It may happen also. But you have the responsibility. Today, if we get tons of money in this campus, definitely the Vice-Chancellor would be asked. It will be very difficult, man. नहीं मुझे नहीं पता आपकी कुछ नहीं होगा आपको प्रयागराज से की जगह लखनऊ के वाइस चांसलर बना देंगे. What is this? It will not happen. Why should it happen to a judge? What is the Suraksha Chakra to a judge? It's Lakshman Rekha sort of thing you cannot cross. It has not been crossed. Lakshman Rekha may have a very important reason to do it, but then it is definitely grossly misused. And in this case, it's blatant. It is blatant, no doubt. I'm equally aggrieved. I've been talking to my colleagues wherever I have get an opportunity, I say this in openly. Why is not police allowed to investigate? All that is required, it was dumped under the carpet till the media tips it out. The Chief Justice knew it. The next day, definitely, सब कि भी ऐसा पैसा मिला. Fortunately, unfortunately, the judge was not there. There was a fire at his residence. Otherwise, nobody would have known. No, none of us would have known. Again, one single incident कहा हुआ एक मछली पूरे तालाब को गंदा कर देती. There are one such incidents, two such incidents maybe, but the entire judiciary's reputation is at stake. We must also say, just you have to. What is this transfer? Transfer means nothing. He is also a honorable my lord justice. I don't feel like calling the judges my lords even after looking at that such thing. But we do call. And that's another important. Why do we call my lord? Then again, आपने बोला तो मैं बताता हूँ आपको. हम लोग my lord बोलते हैं. हमको भगवान का दर्जा देते हैं हम लोग. लॉर्ड का दर्जा. एप्लीकेशन लिखते हैं, प्रेयर लिखते हैं. भगवान को ही प्रेयर करते हैं, किसी को नहीं करते हैं. उसमें प्रेयर लिखते हैं. We give them by system that judges discharge a divine role. किसी और का फैसला करना सिर्फ जज ही कर सकता है. अदरवाइज मैं अपना फैसला करता हूँ, आप अपना फैसला करते हैं, वो अपना फैसला करते हैं. पेरेंट्स भी कुछ हद तक करते हैं फैसला, पर किसी और के ऊपर फैसला करना तो एक जजेस का ही एक डिवाइन रोल है. इसीलिए माय लॉर्ड कहते आए, सिस्टम से कहते आए हम लोग. पंच को हम लोग बोलते थे, पंच परमेश्वर बोलते थे हम लोग पहले. जब तक ये सिस्टम पंच परमेश्वर बोलते थे. भगवान का दर्जा देते हैं बिकॉज और किसी के लिए डिसाइड करते हैं. जब भगवान ये से जब मार्जिन आउट हुए तो कौन बचाए वाली बात होगी. तब आप अपना ही करोगे तो बहुत गलत हुआ ये इंसिडेंट. इस जुडिशरी की रेपुटेशन पे बहुत बड़ा स्कार है. जुडिशरी को डेफिनेटली एक्शन लेना चाहिए था. पुलिस शुड हैव बीन आस्क्ड टू लॉन्च एन एफआईआर. इन्वेस्टिगेशन होना चाहिए था. पैसा कहाँ से आया 10 लोगों को पूछते थे, ऐसा नहीं पता नहीं चलता. हाँ ठीक है, जज साहब को नहीं पता होगा आया, बट कौन लाया, कैसे गया, इन्वेस्टिगेशन तो होता. आज की डेट में क्या इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगा? न यहाँ पैसा है, न कहाँ से आया, कहाँ से गया. सीसीटीवी फुटेज होती है आजकल. तो कल मैंने सुप्रीम कोर्ट में देखी, सारे पुलिस स्टेशन की सीसीटीवी फुटेज का एक मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम होना चाहिए. सब कुछ होता है आज की डेट में टेक्नोलॉजी से, ये पता होना चाहिए था. दिस इज अ रॉन्ग थिंग व्हिच जुडिशरी हैज डन, हार्म्ड इटसेल्फ according to me.
Yes.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
And she took a very personal take on this entire conversation. I first want to know what was the one most defining case or the turning point in your own legal career that sort of shaped your career today and which type of person you are.
Nice question.
The type of person I am is, as I said, I was born in a small village. I see people of that village don't have schooling. Like, I recently shared you with my small experience. I will answer you. I had a problem with my driving license. My date of birth उसमें बहुत गलत था, तो मैंने करेक्शन के लिए दिया. तो वो कहता सर आपका या तो आप बर्थ सर्टिफिकेट लाए, वो तो नहीं है, हॉस्पिटल में पैदा ही नहीं हुआ. पंचायत से ले, पंचायत थी नहीं वहाँ पर, तो फिर तो नहीं कर सकते. मेरा आधार ले लीजिए, नहीं आधार नहीं लेंगे. पैन ले लीजिए, पैन नहीं लेंगे. पासपोर्ट ले लीजिए, पासपोर्ट नहीं लेंगे. हमको तो उस समय का चाहिए. उस समय होता ही नहीं था, क्या कर सकते हैं. Ultimately, to file a writ petition at the High Court, Delhi High Court, I filed myself, and thereafter they corrected it. वो करेक्ट नहीं करने को तैयार थे. आधार में मेरा ठीक है, पैन में ठीक है, पासपोर्ट में ठीक है, बट ड्राइविंग लाइसेंस में कुछ उस समय कोई भी नहीं देखता था. चलो कुछ भी लिखवा दे, माँ बाप ने, दादा दादी ने लिखवा दिया, इस दिन पैदा हुआ, क्या फर्क पड़ता है. So, but then what is my turning life is if see, when did the legal aid came into legal aid authority came into existence in 1987. Legal Services Authorities Act is 1987. Before that, there was no legal aid formally done. But the right to get defended by a lawyer of your choice is a constitutional right under the Constitution. But there was no concept, there was no organized system of legal aid as we have today. I was talking to your Vice-Chancellor, legal aid क्या है. Legal aid we have at taluka level, with district level, with high court level, Supreme Court level. I was a part of NALSA, which is the National Legal Service Authority. This is the highest decision-making body in the country. In 1985, I did a case in the Supreme Court where a person was acquitted only on the ground that he was not made aware that he has a right to legal aid.
Oh.
that was said to be violation of fundamental rights. Sukdas, if I'm not wrong, Sukdas was stated fundamental. Read that judgment. And the Supreme Court recognized that right to be right to know, again that's what right to know to be defended by a lawyer of your choice is a fundamental right. And if you don't tell that accused that you can choose a lawyer at government expense, then the entire trial goes. The entire trial was struck down by the Supreme Court on that basis. That also realized me. And I'll answer another way of your saying when legally it is very dear to me. Recently there was some judgment called Suhas Chakma, read that judgment, Supreme Court come. In one case when I was appearing for legal aid, I found that he has come to the Supreme Court after 10 years. His High Court judgment is say 2014 and SLP is filed in 2025. The court said, all right, we are reducing your sentence from life to 7 years. I said, by this time I have undergone more than 10 years. And why should the legal aid not made available? We should not ask for it. I said, I was not aware for it. It's your duty as a NALSA, your duty as a legal aid. You are getting public, there's a body constituted to inform all the prisoners. Prisoners are entitled to legal aid as of the right. To inform all the prisoners that you are entitled to legal aid. Then we got data from all over the country. I sent questionnaires all over the country, all the state legal service. We found about 5,000 people are not filed appeals. Questions were raised, why not? Many of them said we don't want to file. Some of them said we were not aware. I say even one person is not aware, even today, which was 40 years back, 85 judgment. It is his right is extinguished. So then the Supreme Court has passed a series of directions, including notice board on the bus stands that you are entitled to legal aid. Or Supreme Court का order में. What I was telling you is, when you do a case on payment, you get pay, P-A-Y. But when you do a case for a poor, you get pay plus get an R. That's a reward, P-R-A-Y. They pray for you.
Yeah.
And in the word pray, P-R-A-Y, P-A-Y is already there. R is the reward for your life. Compensation regarding a train official station. What is it called? रेलवे में जो भी होता है वहाँ पर पोस्टमास्टर ने जो रेलवे का ऑफिसर होता है स्टेशन पे रहता है स्टेशन मास्टर या स्टेशन मास्टर was his duty was off. Then say 9 to 5 घर चला गया. Then some incident happened at the station. He came back and got injured. He was entitled as a workman's compensation. Government took a plea that he is not on duty at that point of time. He is not entitled to compensation under Workmen's Compensation Act. We know that he has come to join duty. He has worked beyond that. And we got him paid about lakh or 2 lakh by Supreme Court order. That touched me. So we have to help this category of people to do it. And you really get rewarded. You feel so blessed when you get money for a poor man. In the car, again, when the train, I was settling a petition, 91 ages. अभी है उड़ीसा में कोई एक बरस में ही घर पे आना हूँ. I don't take cases. But then somebody came, कहाँ से आए हो? तो लोग कि सर मैं तो बगल में जगन्नाथ मंदिर है वहाँ से आया हूँ. आपको कैसे पता नहीं? किसी ने बोला था आपके बारे में. ठीक है आइए बैठिए चाय पी लिया. ठीक है पिया. क्या है मेरा ऐसा ही है क्या आपका नहीं मुझे 8 लाख रुपए नहीं दिया मेरा पैसा ले लिया सरकार ने. क्या I had junior active. But somehow we got an order. And he came with his son. Son इतना बुरा लग रहा था कि नहीं मेरे पिताजी इनका केस है. He was 90 years. He was hardly speak. He had hardly speak. So we got an order for 8 lakhs around him. Court said. And government has said as its initial disciplinary inquiry, how did you pass an order, etc. We filed a contempt yesterday. If you wish, you will get so much of blessings which you will not know. Blessings दिखती नहीं है कभी. But it does reflect. That's what I personally believe. That's one of the things which you always put in. Please put in. And you are fortunate that you are in this classroom. There are very, very few who get this fortune. And this fortune is your blessings of elders, with your parents, with your grandparents, and persons who are around. And this will help you. realizing this. Another one small example I'll give you one, and I'll finish it. I don't stop when I come to legal aid. In Uttarakhand, one of the doctors got shot dead. Why? He said, "Ki bhi Sunday hai, oh man, some patients is there. Let me go and check." Yesterday, the patient died. The patient's parents come next day and they shoot him. And then there was a lot of hue and cry about the doctor. Then government announced some 50 lakh. But it gives you a lot of satisfaction that you're doing service for the country and a lot of satisfaction to yourself. It's a lot of satisfaction it gives you, and that's how it keeps you moving towards it. If I have to choose between two cases where I get fully paid or overpaid and get a case where I'm not paid, I choose the case which is not paid. The reason is if you are getting double, that means you have sufficient money, you can engage another lawyer. But the other person cannot. So you have a duty towards that. Keep that in mind.
Very nice.
Yeah, come. You were saying something first, and then we'll पीछे से आ रहे हैं. Representatives आपको वही लगता है जो आप choose करते हो. वो कहते हैं you get what you deserve. So we choose these MLAs, we choose these MPs. That's why I very strongly say please don't vote for those persons. So they will not make law. They have a basic because today the law is till they are convicted there cannot be restriction because you are innocent till proved guilty. So that is the law today that we have been trying hard. Once the charge is framed, yes, you should not be allowed. But that is not the law. Supreme Court conclusion might say that cannot be done. RTI, I don't think you are right. RTI is one of the very powerful tools in our country, according to me. The moment you apply for RTI, within 30 days you get you apply. Even I sometimes try to get something on academic line, etc. We file RTI. Within the 30 days, you get a reply from that. That's very important. You online होता सब तो आजकल. Every online application you get, and they are very responsive because they are disciplinary proceedings against the officer, the public information officer, if you don't reply within time and if you insufficient, etc. And you have a right to appeal to the RTI Commission, to the Right to Information Commission. And they are quite effective according to one important tool in the hand of every Indian is RTI. You apply RTI, you get it, and you are all literate people, so you can apply online, you get it immediately. And what was your third question? Was see again, we have to believe in some institutions. Chief Election Commissioner is the person who upholds the democracy of the country. We always, when we talk of Chief Election Commissioner, we always remember whom? CN Why?
Yeah.
We don't have the example of Vishnu Verma. We remember the example of Justice Ashar Khanna also, who was the lone dissenting judge in people could be saying fundamental rights can be violated. He was lone dissenting. We requested, we remember him because he was a dissenting. Set an example. TSS set an example. But you can't distrust every institution. Parliament भी नहीं है, judiciary भी नहीं है, election commission भी नहीं है. फिर तो क्या होगा? फिर तो system खत्म हो जाएगा. We could trust some institution. If some wrong persons comes, try to improve that system. But it's not that everybody says EVM was alleged. EVM में सब manipulation था. Manipulation होता तो कभी भी ruling party हारती ही नहीं. Ruling party today in the center is not of its own majority. If it had EVM manipulation, it would have not lost the election. So you have to trust some institutions. We are doing that SIR matter. We have to more also. We have to say that we have to trust some system. Put some checks and balances, as in the case of Justice Vishnu Verma. We had to put some checks and balances. Similarly, if the CEC is not functioning, we put some checks and balances. Supreme Court is there. Supreme Court looks after if anything wrong is being done. So we have a good election commission. If we don't have a good election commission, I don't think any ruling party would have lost. Indira Gandhi lost election 1977 after the emergency. It was because the elections were by the election commission of India. You could remember that. And as that time of emergency was really horrific. What happened in emergency? There are some series also in emergency. Read them how the people rights were violated in brutal manner, almost brutal manner. So there are good institutions surviving in the country. You were asking something, someone else. But good. I'm getting a lot of. आप choose करिए किस better you know the judge.
Yes.
Definitely. But you know the judge not personally.
Yeah.
You know the judge what he looks for, the way he conducts. My father used to say, you may lose a case, don't lose the judge. It does not mean literally. See, every judge is you and me are all judges. You can become judges tomorrow. The way you want, you inspire confidence in. Don't go by the personal things. It will be very minuscule. ठीक है, आज की डेट में होता है कि uncle judges this, that, etc. personal, but that's not. When they sit as a judge, again, I'm not defending all the judges. There are problems, but that is a perception which has been created. It may be that the last night I had a liquor with a judge and tomorrow I'm doing it, but then it's not he will decide with me in my favor. As a judge, if he decides in your favor, you are happy. The litigant is always happy. And he sees the judge is impartial if he decides in his favor. If he loses, the imputations comes. How many cases a lawyer or a litigant has said कि जज अच्छा है आफ्टर हारने के बाद और जज खराब है आफ्टर जीतने के बाद doesn't say. So normally we lawyers, I always blame my community as a lawyer. We create wrong impression about the judiciary. That yes, what you believe is important. I always tell that people say that no, you don't see the right thing. I said I only see the right thing. You don't see corruption. I see the corruption. I have told other people. But it's not that everybody is corrupt. It may be that you can hear him more. I like the judge means what? The way he wants. Yesterday I was hearing it, the judge was asking questions, the lawyer was saying, the judge used to say, Mr. Counsel, we have asked you 5 questions, you have not answered 1. You lose the judge. He said, I am asking you X, you are telling it Y. I am asking you B, you are telling it Z. What is this? Do you think that we don't understand? So you have to answer the judge. Some judge wants to hear it more leisurely, more facts, tell them. Some judge wants to test you how much law you know. The one sentence which you say about it, his judge understands that how much you have prepared. So again, the judges are intelligent people, they are not non-intelligent people, right? So you make an impression about the judge, not your personality as such. How the judge speaks, and most of the judges, if you interact with the judge, they want only the lawyers, the lawyers, prepare on facts. They ask you something, you straight away say that, and straight away tell the page number. At least in Supreme Court, our practice is page number. Judge asks you to say, Lord, my Lord may go to page 101. They ask you something, my Lord may go to page 356. How do you know so much? You have to anticipate this is what judge is going to ask, which is against you, and note that page number. We don't have that much of time to spare and flip over pages. You miss the bus by that time. So your level of preparation is very important to make judge in his good books.
Yeah.
Not that he knows you personally. You become in his good books because yes, this lawyer is prepared for that. That's very important. Secondly, first generation, second generation, third generation, I told you. Yes, it's much easier for the first, second generation lawyer, but then you are the first generation, your children will become the second generation. That you can't help it. You have a difficult time. You have some difficulties. You have some difficulties being the first generation lawyer to take off, to start the breaking point. As I said that as a second generation, you don't have inhibition, you have some person in the family. But वो शुरू में पुश मिलेगा आपको आफ्टर 30 की स्पीड से सबको भागना उसी रेट से पड़ेगा but that is not in your reach. For that you do an extra effort. You prepare more meticulously. A second generation person is not preparing it good, he'll get ठीक है शुरू में उसको डर लगता हो जाएगा. But you put an extra effort for making that 30, starting with 30, and that you can do it with your hard work. And let me tell you, the preparation, I find it very few lawyers, and again, I don't say that I prepare well, but I do prepare well to the best of my capacity. And which that capacity is quite high because I don't leave it till I am satisfied. Don't leave a brief till you are satisfied. Ask questions to your client. Prepare very well, prepare your notes, and prepare your law. Get to the latest case laws. One case you answer could give a judge, I believe we always give lots of last week judgment has come. Oh, you know that case. Now you have a technology with you. Every day judges' judgments are uploaded. One impression you make, you win the judge. That's how you win the judge. Not by relation. There are always incidents which you cannot rule it out, and that is not your first generation to first generation. But don't grieve about it. फर्स्ट जनरेशन है वो थर्ड जनरेशन का वो देखो कैसे चला गया भाई उससे आगे भागने का देखो ना मैं तुमको पीछे करके दिखाऊंगी हैव दैट डिटरमिनेशन एंड देन डू इट Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
You were asking something.
I think you have very brilliantly explained this. What otherwise is taken as a joke that the good lawyers know the law and the great lawyers know the judges. So, what is the meaning of the word knowing the judges, particularly for the mooters? Whatever sir has just now said is very, very important. That listen very carefully what is being asked from you, and then answer that particular thing which the judge wants to know. So if you are answering that means you know the judge. Anyway, I can talk to you. I mean later on also. This time it is.
नहीं आप बताइए इसमें it's very
Yeah.
important from a
But
from
yeah.
a teacher's point, from a student, because I don't interact with the students much. I interact with lawyers. So what student point of view से कैसा होना चाहिए वो बता सकते हैं.
Yeah.
उस समय आप
Yeah. Anyway, I think let me give the floor to my students. Yeah, you were asking something, Riddhi. So okay, fine.
हाँ.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
My name is Karthik Sir from First Year Law Student, and I would like to know sir's view on the topic of preventive litigation and where the state security should be allowed. How much state security should be allowed to interfere with individual speech? Like we observe nowadays that most of our jails are filled with people who are unable, are there on wrong classes and they are unable to read their case in court and apply for bail. And most of the time their bail is not granted. I would like to ask the
I'm glad that first year students are asking this question. I'm glad that you are studying here. It's all credit to go to the teaching faculty. Otherwise, हमारे time में तो first year students को even 3 year course में कुछ नहीं आता. I'm very candid. I'm very clear about it. I got good marks in my law college, but then first year में तो कुछ भी नहीं पता होता. I'm glad that first year student that too straight from school. You're straight from school, right?
Yeah.
When you are
Yes,
asking
yes.
this question,
Yes.
see again different. There are two different things. Preventive detention is something different. That's regarding security of the state. You are detained to prevent commission of a crime. There is no question of bail. They are security of the state, public order. There is a different field that will go on some other time. The bail, etc., is a right. Every accused is produced within 24 hours before a magistrate. The judge sees whether there are materials against him or not. Otherwise, it's not remand. It's not that these cases are not heard. These cases are heard. In 90 days, the charge is not filed, he gets a default bill. So within 90 days, if the charge is not filed by the police, he gets a default bill. He doesn't have to make an application. That's one of the questions in the AOR examination. What is the provision regarding default bill? Whether you have to make an application, you don't have to make an application. So that again, perception is bail is not granted to the common man, because if you see the High Court, आप लोग आजकल तो online होता है. Just log in. Ma'am, perhaps you can have some classes. Sometimes you can log into the important cases. Nowadays, Supreme Court proceedings can be logged in and seen. Sometimes the High Court proceedings are you can see log in and see. Every judge, I think in Allahabad High Court is the most 150 से 200 bail application हर जज के पास आती है. वो 50 में ग्रांट की करते हैं. वो कॉमन मैन की होती है. जब वो मीडिया में नहीं आता, इसीलिए हम लोग को परसेप्शन है कि लोग कॉमन आदमी का नहीं होता है. But he is the person who has allegedly committed a crime. There are complaint against him. He is not a powerful man. Somebody has made a complaint against him of any offense, be molestation, be cheating, be robbery, be attempt to murder. Then he is inside jail. Normal people, again, to blame the entire system is not correct. What I believe. There are people who get killed. There are delays also, but then there are at every level one goes up. There are Supreme Court here, vast number of bail applications. District Court magistrate के साथ 24 hours में bail रिमांड करते हैं. रिमांड के टाइम में पुलिस मजिस्ट्रेट देखता है. आप लोग कुछ अब तो डायरेक्टली नहीं बन सकते 5 साल बाद. You require more than 3 years of practice, and that's right. You don't immediately go and become a judge. You require 3 years of practice. So people are granted bail. It's not that they're not there. We'll have a last question, perhaps.
Yes. That you snatched the words from my mouth. Yeah.
Yes, ask.
Okay.
And one
I think she was also asking. Let her give the chance. So आपको भी है. So we'll have.
We'll have
Yeah.
now fast.
Exceptions are always there to the rule, na? So you come. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Satya Sharma from second year. Sir, my question was, as a student, I aspired to practice in Supreme Court one day. And I just wanted to know how was your first case in the Supreme Court? How did you practice for it? How did you stand before the bench for the very first time? How was your experience?
First
फर्स्ट
case.
केस में तो खड़ा हो के आपको माइलॉट करने के लिए भी मिरर के सामने प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा. At our time, nowadays you have good courts, you have a lot of exposures, you don't have to do it. When I was studying in Assamese language, तो अंग्रेजी भी अच्छे से बोलने नहीं आती. So that's how it is. First case is again where you appear, where you get your own case. They are two different things. You are with the senior and then the senior goes to.
Yes.
Normally क्या होता है senior सवा 10 बजे बोलता है अरे डेट ले आना. जस्ट तो पूछेगा क्या you hardly have time. First thing is you prepare yourself within 10 minutes also. Most of the time I find that the busy lawyer they tell the juniors are late. I told one of the judges also recently. Juniors are worried to appear before you. He said no, they don't come prepared. So they come prepared. The senior doesn't give them time. It's a real fact. सवा 10 बजे बोलेगा आदमी कि तुम इसमें ना तुम्हारा नाम शर्मा तुम जाके ना वहाँ डेट ले लो. पर डेट लो फाइल भी नहीं दी है मुझे क्या पता क्या है मैं किसी के तरफ से हूँ मैं एक्यूज हूँ मैं कन्विक्ट हूँ मैं कंप्लेनेंट हूँ नहीं पता उतनी सी देर में देख लो आप. Whatever little time you focus it, you see it very meticulously. That's the only thing I can have confidence. And if you are homosexuality should be allowed, it should not be allowed. Or now we
But
have.
I'm also questioning upon the legislature, the member of the legislature. I'm not eligible.
I understand. So the question is, you have social norms in every society, right? We are a social animal. We are all animals and between these we are social animals. That's what called. We have social norms, certain things which are built over a period of time. Those norms keep on changing also. In our, I was reading that some places, since you are all 18 plus around perhaps, if you kiss in public places, it's okay. If you go and if you see English movies, etc., it is a part of life. Here, if you hold your hand of a friend, it is not taken good. So these are all social norms. Again, then that's a right of privacy is concerned the choice of an individual. It depends. You like, you do not like. But so long as you don't offend the society, you have to have certain social norms. You cannot say, I will not obey any social norms, I will do what I want. You do what you want in your private life. But you can't pollute the entire social fabric in this system. Because these norms are built, we can debate. We can have a personal life the way we want, what we wear, but when you go in a public place, you have to go by the society, but social norms have been accepted. So there is a difference between officially recognizing and not recognizing, and the recognizing again, I personally agree, yes, if it does not affect a third party, there is no harm again, but it will be done by the lawmakers and not lawmakers, it is over a period of time, it will be seen. 40% of criminal record, but then this has nothing to do with it. This is what is social norms. You are not allowed to marry a person of other caste. You are not allowed to marry within your gotra also. There are certain social norms have been built. If it is done, then the society does not take it kindly. They harsh you. But then, what I personally feel, you ask me what is your opinion is, if you have a personal life within within the house, within the closed door, you do what you want, but if you go with a public crime, you have to go by some system of society. Suppose I have come here in a short, would you like it? My choice है मैं shorts पहन के आ जाता हूँ क्या फर्क पड़ता है? But I am not expected to come. That was not the society accept. That was not you would have expected. Suppose I would have come in a short and a t-shirt. You would not have looked at me the way you are looking at me today. So that depends. वो कह सकते हो कि क्या कपड़ा पहना मेरी चॉइस है मैं पहनता हूँ. How are you concerned? I am concerned because you have come to you. Within my bedroom, I can wear what I want, what I don't. You can do it, but then not in a public place. That's what it is there. Law recognition, it is evolving globally. It's a global phenomenon. It will go on. If you have further questions, since we are short of time, you ask this question. I think this is. Yeah.
I do respect the decorum of the society, but I am also of this point of view that curriculum should not held upon in violating the interest of that individual. For example, in the class we have discussed that recently there has been a case where a UPSC aspirant, he had driven towards his own genital mutilation because he was not able to suffer down the burden that the society was putting on him. He was not able to accept the fact that yes, he is a homosexual person in such a society, which does not reflect on its own interest. So, what's your view?
Again, that's a social evolution. See, again, in Dubai till now, the females are not allowed to drive. Dubai is such a fast-moving country, fast-moving place. Females got a right to drive only very recently. But that's how the society evolves. Why male and female does marry only? Why not make some? That's again social evolution. See again, law
So
and social
yeah,
evolution.
so
You have
I
to
would
understand
say
society in a different way.
that what the sir is trying to say and what you're trying to ask is that this area is still in the evolution. As you have said that we also had that pass the Transgenders Act. So some development has taken place, and then there is NALSA judgment also. Another development has taken place. But yes, you are right that when it comes to the their right to get married, that particular judgment has not been given. So there are two ways to look at the situation. One is how far the rights of the transgenders have come herein, and definitely to some extent. But then there is, looking from their point of view, there is long way to move ahead. But what sir is saying, that even though I do not find is against this kind of the development, but how stepwise and in a systematic manner it should take place is his concern, that when we are giving them their rights, we should give them their rights, but we should give them their rights in such a way which does not affect the other general public, as I have understood. Yeah. So we can take the last question. Last means the last. Okay.
Yes, the
okay.
last.
This girl again from the first year, I believe.
Huh.
Yeah.